call this meeting to order. Please look at the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I so move.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
You received the minutes prior to the meeting, you've got a copy of them. Any corrections or additions to the minutes? Okay,
I didn't see any.
all right, so do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
to approve.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
And we'll move to programs and facilities update. Christie, we'll turn it over to you. Lots going on the island.
There is a lot going on the island. So the egg hunt was a tremendous success. I'd like to thank all of the prep that was able to assist. As far as new programs, I have someone that reached out to me that is interested in teaching Pilates for the summer because they're in town for the summer. We're having some back and forth with things that they have to supply to the town in order to be considered independent contractor, but more information to come regarding that and a possible interest list going out to the public. The Beach Ranger program is scheduled to begin again for the season the week before Memorial Day.
Do you have enough rangers?
I'm trying to work through using the rangers that we had from last year. There are a couple that are not returning,
Okay.
but they feel like it will be tolerable schedule-wise, so.
Okay.
The Avenue E facilities are opened and have been open for a few weeks now. We were still waiting on power, I believe, the last meeting that we had. We're getting compliments on that new addition at the east end. The Block Q restroom construction is scheduled to begin next week. The contractor's been doing some preliminary survey work, and the staff has been doing utility locates for several weeks now, and getting power cut to the site. Staff is also working on specifications to try to, as you guys, we've discussed in the budgets before, we try to do walkway repairs and rebuild at least 3 a year for public accesses to keep them updated. For this fiscal year, we're gonna try to fit Jordan in because Jordan needs some revamp to be ADA accessible. It's something that's been identified in our internal ADA self-assessment that the Planning and Inspections Department is working on, so we're trying to get that out of this fiscal year if we can get the CAMA permit in time.
Now, because that had just been redone. in the
It
last
has,
year or
it's
so.
too steep.
Okay,
It has little sections that kind of go like this, so there's some parts of it that'll have to be redone, so Rise and Run
okay.
does
just fixing
exactly
that.
what it's supposed to.
So they're not gonna have to take the whole thing, they're not gonna start from scratch, you're just gonna fix sections.
Yeah, that's not what we're anticipating at this
Okay.
point in time. And then, if Easter was any indication, we're gonna have lots of visitors here on the island this summer, so that is a good thing. I've been working with both the Women's Club and then the Rotary Club. They're both doing toy chest projects where they're putting wooden toy, open air toy boxes out at two of the beach accesses for people that don't come to the beach with toys. And they will be restocking and replenishing those. So one is scheduled to go up or has already gone up in the past few days since I met with them at the pier, and the Women's Club's gonna be monitoring that. And then the Rotary Club I met with this morning, they're still debating their location, but probably will be the East End.
Okay.
As far as the proposed budget, the budget that went in to the commissioners, the master plan for the Block Q area was presented in there that you guys recommended. A new concert venue at the Block Q area, phasing of playground equipment, so starting the process there, and engineering on the pier to move to design level was proposed. Those were major key items in the budget. So I think we hit on all the things that you guys kind of went through in your rationale. And if there's something that I haven't jogged my memory on, because I've been looking at a lot of budget numbers across departments, you can feel free to ask me about it. Is there anything that stands out that we talked about that you want to ask me about?
Well, not on the budget, but I
Okay.
did, you did update us on the bathrooms that we just saw being put in, the handicap accessible bathrooms
At which,
at
Right.
the, Jordan and at the old.
the parking spaces.
Right.
Parking spaces are being added per part of the ADA request. So, there are handicap parking spaces being poured there. And those are, being completed. I guess they're starting today, working on them today, and I'm not sure if they'll finish up today.
So are they moving, you said something about in the budget, the new concert venue, but is the architectural firm kind of moving on with that to get rendering and that kind of thing, or where are they on
Not
that
until the budget year turns, well, that's not true. So what the board voted on at the last meeting is to have them try to begin out of this year's fiscal year to actually put it on a site plan. So
Okay.
the concert venue, but when you first just asked me, I was thinking in terms of design scale drawings. That's not there
Right.
yet, but just to put it on a site plan for them to revisit with that and the, bathroom there.
Okay. So the pickleball courts are on hold until they get a big master plan done.
Yes.
Okay.
That was a nice stage for the, last week for the spring thing there.
Yeah.
I know they're expensive though.
They are.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
weekly cost.
Just, I know we may have enough time, we meet in June, but tie-dye, I mean, do you have dates for when you're gonna start that, or should we just wait till June?
No,
June,
I
right?
can,
I won't be here in June, I want to know.
I think that we will likely begin on the 10th.
Okay. Okay,
Because schools in the county will be out by then and we'll be getting visitors pretty steadily by then.
okay.
And continue until?
I need to
Labor Day?
do a back to you on continue until.
Okay,
I'm not sure about August yet.
okay, and same location as last year?
Yes.
It's a great location.
Yeah, that is a good location. Hey, all right. Christie, anything else you've got for us?
Not before we move to the next item on the agenda.
Okay, anybody else on the board have any questions for Christie about facilities or programs? Okay, all right. I think we're ready to move to the playground discussion then.
Okay, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a preview. I don't ever like to show pictures and get people's hopes up about things, but I did need some feedback because I had mentioned that I started working with a couple different playground vendors to try to get to solid numbers for the budget. And so we presented phasing in playground equipment into the budget. I have 3 different renderings to show you that are based on themes that, in my opinion, based on things that I went through, are relevant to Holden Beach. But that doesn't mean that you guys may decide you don't think we need a themed playground. That's the kind of feedback that I need. So I'm going to show you some pictures, talk about orientation a little bit, and then we can decide where we think we need to go with like future moving along with this.
This is not fixing what? This is.
No, we're gonna replace pieces, so
Okay,
what we have
That's
over.
totally different than
Mhm.
what this is, okay.
But, well, the pieces that are over there now, pieces will be coming out and new pieces will be going in. So
Right.
these options right here are based on the size that we have over there now and also take into account where our shade sail poles are pre-positioned.
Right.
So the things that you'll see actually fit
Right.
into.
So the footprint of the playground will not expand or
Right.
contract? Okay, it'll be exactly what we've got with the shade poles, okay.
Right.
All right, so this first option, this is, I don't know, it might be easier for y'all to see behind you, but this is the, where my cursor is over here. This is gonna be your larger piece that you're gonna see. Swings will stay where they are. 2 rockers would go right here, and then this would be a shipwreck element. So I'm gonna show you that design now.
So that's the big piece right there.
That's the big piece.
Okay.
This is the shipwreck piece.
Oh. There'd be some climbing on it then. I mean, some.
These are schematics that our engineers will enjoy, but y'all might not want to care about the schematics. And then these are the 2 bays with the swings and then the rockers.
Okay.
And then we said, well, what about the shipwreck combo being a little bit different? So all you're gonna see is a change in that segment there, which changes it about in this space. But all of these other things would be exactly where you just saw them and how you saw them.
Where's the splash pad? In
This,
that?
this,
The splash pad would be over here.
Okay, got it.
So this is like a little bit more of a net thing with the shipwreck. So some climbing, like you would, kind of like our climber that's over there now, but it's a different type of 3D orientation. And then he didn't re-show, he just showed that element as different than that element and didn't re-show, but your swings would still look the same, and this would be your large piece. And then 6 brings into a kind of changes the orientation. So your large piece goes here. This is a swing bay, and then this allows for a kind of captain's pirate lookout. So that looks like this, with a climbing wall and kind of a rock feature here. This piece is a little bit different. It's a little bit smaller than the one in the bigger one. And then your swings would remain the same. So I know I went through them pretty fast. I'm more than happy to go back to different ones of them, but I think the first thing I need feedback on is, do we think that like a themed thing that goes along with the beach is what we need over there, or are we looking for more of a kind of hodgepodge piece together kind of thing?
Well, I like the theme. I think that's a nice idea. I don't know if I like the one with the captain's perch. I see kids jumping off of that. That's just me.
Yeah.
how do they get up there besides the climbing wall and the net?
It's for bigger kids, so yeah, they go up that way or up the other way.
Yeah, it's for, all of this is a 5 to 12 playground like we have now, so.
Is that what it is? Yeah, it shows it.
And you already have kind of a theme with your splash pad, with the treasure, you've started that, kind of with the treasure chest and all of that, so it seems, I'm like with Peggy, I think it seems appropriate if we can kind of continue that.
I think it's great. I really do like it. I don't know about the expense. I mean,
Well, I can get you close, like I can talk to you a little bit about
Back
why
up to the.
it's phased in.
Let's stop it, okay, so the first one, the younger folks would have a little bit larger play area.
I'm gonna go to the very first picture and then we'll scroll down, okay?
Yeah, 'cause-
So this is the option 5.0. This is a shorter slide here.
okay.
and this was back up. It's the, okay, there. It's also a slide for younger kids, right?
Right.
This is the back side of that?
It
you
is.
showed us. Okay, right, got it.
And then this is this type of shipwreck with kind of a long, not as high slide, I guess, as some of the slides.
And then you've got the perch and the longer, bigger slide, or is that just?
That's just in the background. That's what you guys
Okay.
that wouldn't be in it. It would
Okay,
just
so
be
you do
this
that.
piece.
But you could add the other one as if,
No.
at other times?
No, so the big perch that we talked about, the pirate's perch
Right,
that was
right.
here,
Right,
The only place it will fit is if we put it over here, and it wouldn't be the shipwreck piece along with it. So that would move your big palm tree thing here. This crow's nest, like pirate thing would be here, and this would be swings. If you liked the shipwreck, you would have to imagine that that goes away. It was just a part of this playground that's bigger than ours. You're looking at this piece right down here.
But that doesn't look, well, you really designed the playground for younger children in mind, because that's a small piece for older kids, right?
Right.
Okay.
And again, all of it is rated 5 to 12, and then these are specifically, the rockers are for younger kids, even though older kids get on it. And then this one just changes the look of this and kind of makes it even lower to the ground. It takes out the slide element. It does have climbing elements, so.
How do those rope climbers hold up? I watched the children on that not that long ago. Seems like they get a lot of work.
They do get a lot of work. I asked him about maintenance on this, and he felt like based on what they've seen in the similar environments that we had, that if it was like pressure washed and washed down every year, you go out and we're diligent, that we could probably get a 20-year lifespan out of it.
With the ropes? Wow.
I mean, I guess that really just depends over time. I could specifically ask him about ropes. He may have been talking about larger components of the pieces, but
Yeah.
So there's an option with no slide and some climbing elements.
yeah.
So the only one we're looking at here is number 1.
This is number 2, right?
Yeah, this is so this was the same, this big thing, same swings in the same location, but it changes that shipwreck from looking like this
Right.
to looking like this.
This. Okay, that's what I meant by the number 1. We're not
Yes.
looking at number 2 or 3.
No, this is number 2.
Yeah, that's number 2.
Oh, I see what you're
Yes.
saying. You're
We're
looking
looking
down
at
at the
the
bottom
teal
where it says
color.
1, 2, 3, right.
Okay, that's what I meant. We're only looking at the teal on both of those. We're not looking at the other options,
Right.
2 and 3. Okay.
Okay, all right, I get what you're saying now. Okay, okay, well, let's go down and look at the other one. So that would be the smaller one.
Yep, smaller this, and it gives you more of these. So you're basically your bigger slide elements like you have on the other one, and your climbing with your ropes comes in on this apparatus. Do y'all want to start by like voting if you want to eliminate things, or do you just?
I was trying to figure out what the older kids need and what younger kids need, you know?
Do you want me to tell you the difference in the price tags?
No.
No, okay.
Is there a lot of difference?
I suspect so. I suspect this one is expensive.
It is the most expensive.
Right.
I like the other one for safety myself. I don't think the big kids should be on this stuff. I think they kind of wreck it for the little kids.
Yeah, but what do we have for 12-year-olds?
They can play basketball.
What do we have for 12-year-olds? I mean, really, basketball and that's it. Pickleball maybe, but
Do 12-year-olds still do playground stuff?
they do if they come with their little brothers and sisters, and they're going to be all over that little stuff.
Well, this one does have a higher slide, so I think the bigger unit here would give more options for all ages, wouldn't it? You're climbing a little bit higher to get to the bigger slide, correct?
Yes, it looks as if you're correct on that,
Right.
yes.
So you've got a rope there, you've got the
You do. The challenge to get up there would be the ropes or
Right.
the swiggle thing,
Yeah, so,
and, which is the challenge, and the little kids could be on
that little, down
the
there.
steps. I like that one.
I like that one
Yeah.
too.
I do
I
too.
do too.
So, we think we like the first option?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Mhm.
You're thinking about putting in that larger playground element first, correct?
That really depends on how the budget plays out.
Okay, all right.
So I will tell you that, oh, come on, don't do this. Let me see if it comes up easier, not on my phone, but on here. So you were right, the most expensive one was the, one with the pirate, climbing. You liked option one, sorry. So it looks like current estimates on that one using a company that, like this company, is $161,951.
Say that again.
161,951.
So 162.
And of that, based on what's in the budget, we could probably put in the larger playground section and the swings. And potentially the fish rockers. Or we could leave potentially the fish rockers, but we wouldn't be able to put in the climber and the playground structure itself at the same time, the ship.
But there'd be room for it. What is in that area right now?
Some rockers that we go through quite frequently.
Okay.
Are these fish rockers, I guess none of them will be sturdy, I mean, with adults getting on them and playing on them, but.
Yeah, and this person that's the playground person that I was talking to here that has done these designs and taken into account, he's actually more than willing to talk to the board. But I told him today I just needed to introduce the concepts, find out if we were thinking themed and that kind of thing before we were really diving into like questions and answers with
Okay.
him. But he's happy to answer those kinds of things.
I like the theme idea. That's fun.
That's kind of all the feedback I needed for today. I don't think we'll revisit this in June, just because the front and center of June will be getting the budget passed. But it's certainly something we would want to move on early on in discussions, and especially have them come and speak to you if you want to at a future meeting, so that as the budget year turns and the funding, if the budget's passed, becomes available, that we move on this during the winter instead of any other time.
Right.
You're saying that June is really gonna be, busy with budget, do we need to meet in June?
I think I need to get back with you guys on
Okay.
that, depending on if we have business that we need to take care of then.
Okay.
So I'll kind of leave that open, but
Okay,
I'm not going to imagine.
okay.
Not that deters anybody else.
Yeah, because unless just in general, unless we had something really pressing,
Right.
just to meet for 15, 20 minutes.
Yes.
Might not be productive in
Right.
terms of what you're in the middle of and what needs to happen for the town, so.
as long as everybody seems to be in a good place with kind of what's
Cool.
transpiring, and you think this would be something that the community would like as far as putting in playground equipment. I mean, we can, piece things together through, using other companies, but I will tell you that the first time around was back in 2014, and the Public Works Department installed the equipment, and they're not at a place that they can do that kind of thing
Right.
anymore.
Yeah,
And so we really need to be looking at whoever does this,
Yeah.
that they come in and that it's a turnkey operation that they install and,
Mm-hmm. I agree. Where do we stand with the basketball?
he thought he was gonna be able to get started last week, cause that's already been encumbered, but he is behind, and he's supposed to call me today, cause we need to have
yeah, because that needs to be.
it does need to definitely get done and out of this year's budget. Cause I did not carry it forward.
Okay, yeah, we need, because that needs to be repaired and, oh, do you think we'll ever get to the point where we'll be able to put the rubberized, matting down underneath the playground and kind of get rid of the sand?
In a budget workshop, I talked about that. I said that, and I looked this way when I said it, because normally planning inspection sits at this front table here. We kind of have different places staffed, that's their normal seat. And I said that I wasn't sure if that, I hadn't even checked with Tim to see if that was permitted out in the park as far as CAMA and what you can put in that area
Okay.
so close from the setbacks, because we do have a unique location on the water here.
Okay.
But I told the board if we did get to that point, that it was a permitted use, that, I had an estimate that it was gonna cost around $90,000 just to do that for the space that's there.
Okay. Well, and the sand is certainly, as long as you maintain it for fall zones and hazards
Right.
and stuff, you're fine with the sand. Just the other is just so much easier, I think, to maintain.
It is,
And not have to go out there and inspect it as much as you do the sand,
right.
to make sure the depths are correct for all the playground safety rules and things, but, okay. I mean, that's a lot of money to spend on
And congratulations to our very own Sean Waldrop, who just passed his certified playground safety inspector
Oh.
course, and just
Great.
found out in last week
Yeah.
that he passed.
That's
Good.
that's
Good,
quite a
good,
test.
good.
I mean,
It is a
Yeah.
test.
It
I've
is a
passed that
test.
test before,
Yeah.
and it does take some,
it's about a 3 days, and it's still a 3 day.
3-day course,
3-day
yeah.
course, and, the department, I don't know if he did it with RRS or through NCRPA, but I know both of them do classes now, but,
he did it through NCRPA.
yeah. And so I know that but its format's the same, and it's 3 days and a big test at the end, and, so,
Well, good
yeah.
for him.
Yeah, it's, that's quite an accomplishment. Good.
And I think that's all I had for you guys for today.
Right. Anything else from the board members before I ask for public comment?
Can I step out, take a call? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're about, yeah, go ahead, right? I
Is
mean,
that all right to do?
Yeah.
yeah. Any,
Got the hospital
we're,
calling me.
time, anybody from the public would like to make a comment?
So Ron Driscoll, 157 Ocean Boulevard East. About 4 meetings ago, I made a presentation on pickleball. And I know you've had a series of follow-on meetings, and I would like to get an update on where we are on that, so I can brief the 100-plus people that signed the interest group for enhanced pickleball facilities on Holden Beach.
So basically during public comment, it's just like the Board of Commissioners, that there's, the rules of procedure that run the meeting is that the board doesn't have to have back and forth with you, so it's not really a question answer kind of thing. But I will answer for them and tell you that, meeting before last, the vice chair of this board took the recommendation from the tasker back to the Board of Commissioners, and this board recommended for up to 4 courts to be placed on block Q. And one of those to be a permanent pickleball court, and the other to be a multi-purpose combo, pickleball and tennis.
And the timing of doing all this?
Is not included in this upcoming year budget.
So we're looking at least into 2027?
Fiscal year, yes.
It is out of our hands now and into the commissioner's hands.
Are we allowed to have back and forth dialogue?
Is the Board of,
So I will make one other comment, and then I will step down. I met with 3 Board of Commissioners after the meeting, the most recent Town Commissioners meeting. I was extremely disappointed in my discussions with each and every one of them when they told me there's no economic impact. They told me that there was not a high interest from the community and that they would have to do a study. And I followed up and I asked them, I said, did you get the presentation that 100+ people signed from the Holden Beach community? And all 3 commissioners said they were given no information to that effect. So I'm not sure where the loss of communication is, and I'm not sure how accurate their response was to me. I'm just telling you what they said to me when I made some comments, because one of the commissioners said, pickleball is not that, quote unquote, pickleball is not that important, and it doesn't provide an economic impact. We need to do more stuff for the fishermen, and the fishermen parking on Block Q, and the pickleball courts should take a distant importance to the people of Holden Beach. So I'm just telling you, I'm not sure where everything's getting lost, but it's very disappointing to a number of people at Holden Beach that this is getting pushed out again. By the time this gets done, the pickleball community in this general area of Brunswick County will have far surpassed Holden Beach, and you almost don't even need to put them in if you're not going to do them until 29 or 30, because there are so many courts going up around here.
Thank you.
And that's it.
Okay, do I have a, can I have a, oh, well, Ray's not back, we adjourn without,
I would love for him to be back to adjourn.
Okay.
okay. We really can't talk until we adjourn this meeting, can we? Do you want me to walk out to let him walk back in?
Heck,
That-
Can I, I'll
Yeah.
do that for
Yeah,
you.
just say, come in the room. And-
Just stand here.
Yes. Okay. Okay, we have a motion to adjourn the meeting with Grace.
Second?
Peggy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.